Here we are at 7:47 a.m., 10/24/2013, part 2 of the Netflix trade. Once again, as a recap of that morning, is that short was working for these guys at 335, and we hit the low. Let's take a look at the range. Now remember that we had limit orders out there prior in the market in the earlier video set with the live entry live in the marketplace. So we can see that we have $11.34 range. And we can see that once again, even with the icon statements about, hey, it's okay to own, I only wanted to sell half, well, every good person, investor, trader should take money off the table. That's what's been happening again here today. We came down and hit that low of 323.66. The call options that we have out to bid at is the first entry. We reduced the volume to 3 at 12.6. That's a November regular call. We have limit orders at 9.4 and 10.5 as well. We had a market made early in the morning at 11.6, which was $1 down below the market. Right now, with that $11.34 range, MMTs, is how do you get the calls wholesale, keeping the volume entry at lows so that your dollar capital risk entry is wholesale to the marketplace. And we know that right now at 7:48 a.m. Now, listen, with price volatility of $11.34 right over here, and we're right now $8.13 off of that initial high in the market maker application. And we can clearly see where the contracts are. Now, we have a choice to make. We're really buyers below the market. We could sell the contracts that we have at 1260 easily enough, and then continue to make lower markets and or give it time, because the option is different than the price of the equity. The price of the equity, when you're going up in value in the teeny range, and what is that? That's 1/16 times $1.14. We put in that bottom. And this is where this bottom is right now at 7:49 a.m. And so we can always limit out here because we're wholesale. Naturally, we are. That's the 335 call, regular November. Now, having said that, we can clearly see that this particular market in the call side on Netflix, when it hits support down here, is still wholesale side of the market from where it sold down big in the earnings cycle, as we have all of those live analysis done before the fact. Yes, this is live and it's before the fact, not after the fact. You can use your intraday buying power, the trading capital that you're going to be given by us, to make these transactions with the market maker management directly behind who? You. That's right. Wholesale. That's always a thing that you could say is a friendly thing. Wholesale prices are friendly because you always have a way out, and you are being due diligence with risk parameters and making adjustments in price volatility when directly needed. When directly needed. And that the mathematical equation here in the platform, it doesn't lie. And there's that bottom, and here are the contracts right now. The other contracts that we are proud to announce was that yesterday's close was 24.50 on this 310 call. Oh, yes, it was. And it closed at $29, and you can see the low of 24.40. That's the markdown. Now they're 25.40 by 25.95. This particular contract here yesterday had a low of $20.75 and traded up to $30.95. Netflix was much stronger yesterday at this time, same time in the morning, 7:52 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10:24 What year? 2013. Happy Halloween, everyone. What we are going through with the MMTs when it becomes in the option market and the equity side of the market is that price discovery. It's very important to do that. You need to know the power of the move. That's what the IR is about. That's $1.14 per 1/16th in our system. Oh yeah. That's why you got that $11.34 reversal off of that short. What that meant, MMTs, at that particular time, it meant that the 330 put, when Netflix was up here at 335, here it is, right here, 330 put. Look at the ranges. 1745, but look at the low. 1445 on the low. We took a pause. It's 8:01 a.m. 10/24/2013 with the MMTs and our worldwide traders around the world, our network and whatnot. Here's that Netflix. Now look, guys, this put option is a 330 put. Now the calls that we own, we had limit orders out there today at 1260. We got hit. We all know that. And go back to part one of today, and you'll find out right there when you watch those live entries in the morning opening bell video. That's the one you go to. And you get there now. Right now when you're watching this. And you see what I'm talking about. You go back and you look at the price on the opening bell. On the opening bell. Now, naturally, we've had a limit order out to sell at 1670 on these, just in case that this breakout. Remember, and here's the put side. Here's that put was 1445. It's a 330 put on Netflix. It's a November regular. Yes, it is. Let it be known right now. 1590 by 16 and a quarter. 1575, that was the original low. The high was 1930. Now, look at the call side go up. Look at that bottom put in. Look at that. They're coming right back up in that price volatility. Yes, it is. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that sweet, MMTs? The time is 8:03 a.m. It's Pacific Standard Time. And one of the things that we're going to be looking at very carefully is when we come up here to the 330 strike price, that's another resistance area. And you can see the red candle live right here. It's $1.14 per mathematical 1/16th line. It's a market maker app. One that you would be privileged to use at that. Only because you will see that you can get wholesale and make money on the put side, and you can get wholesale over here on the call, the 335, and you can make money there. And you can, based on these directional price movements. So when we're breaking out higher, naturally the put's going down, and yes, the call is going up in value based on that 330 resistance right here, right now. And there is a 330 put that's trading at 1610, still above the low of the day. The close was 1671. So he's 1615 by what? 1640. And you're going to get the prices live like this right now. You're going to be going through a complete management entry on the order with your buying power, your trading capital that you're going to get to trade with. And you're going to buy wholesale on both sides of the market. See, the higher this side goes, so I will be able to buy low wholesale over here on the 330 at some point. Maybe I can get these at 1170, and these are up here, and I own these between 1160 and 1260 right here on the 335 calls. And that's based on that price volatility right here when Netflix went straight down. MMT. Here. Let's just take a look at what happened. 335 to the bottom. 323.66. My limit orders were 323.60. But the low was 323.66. And each line is $1.14. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's working on 6 1/16 teenies each times $1.14. That's the total mathematical ascending move. Yes, it is. And right now, it's 8:05 a.m. We opened at 6:30, so we had an hour and 35 minutes of the tape. We've had 2 directional price runs in both directions of the market. And once again, it's how the calls are going up in value here that we bought on the 335 calls. Now we're still 100 pennies above the 1445 low, 1545.75, and that's that 330 put. That's getting down in that wholesale range. That close was 1671. That's very important between the close and the bid only. Right there, MMT. Remember, you're going to be in here live with the market maker, period. And you're going to be able to be managed into what? The risk and the entry of the risk. Wholesale reduces dollar capital risk. We want you to know that. It's something to be proud of. Once again, 8:06 a.m., 10:24. Once again, it's a series of option entries and exits with the volatility stock and both directional price movements. MMT. That's the important thing. And it's live during this tape. It's about, going on 12 minutes. But just remember, once this side of the market's working for us, now it's time to think about, well, is that low? Where is the other part of the trading session going to be? So when do we get wholesale over here? We're out to sell at 1670. We've been out there all day. Yeah. So it hasn't got there yet. But this side of the market can come down and get me at, let's say, 11.7 now. I would be a buyer at the 330 put based on the fact that you're getting the same mathematical morning. Ooh, he's breaking it up. 17, he's off of that low. Straight down and straight up. Look at that put come down in value. Look at here. We're out to sell at 1670 on these. But listen, what about trying to buy that put option at 1170 over here, considering 1930 was a high? That's definitely wholesale bid, and 1671 on the close with a limit order at 11.7 here live right now, 8:08 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, signing off 10/24/13. SMF MMT market makers. That's what you are in directional price movement, both sides. Look at the call value now, and look at the put value, the 330. Okay, we also would be happy to announce the fact that we have the 335 puts right here. That 1685 is a low, and we're approaching that. 2185 was a close, 2240 was a high on that put. So when Netflix was selling down $10 or $12 or whatever it was $11.34 to that low. That's when the put option made the high of 2240. It closed yesterday at 2185, 2185. Printing 1735 with the 1685 intraday morning low. So there was a nice trade in both at the put side, and the calls are working now at their wholesale level. And we continue to move higher, right back up live mathematically here and now in directional price movement, utilizing the call and put structures at various strike prices that are wholesale relative to the wholesale entry on the call side and the retail exit back to the market based on the overall directional price intraday morning movement at 8:10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's been my pleasure. Sign up now. Go click the button. Get in here. Start making a market.